Welcome to the vlog. If you're new here, subscribe and like this video. I'm going to be a little vulnerable today, and I'm going to show you how I get Janie in and out of the house and in and out of the car. Very nerve-wracking to be this vulnerable, but the point of this vlog is to show people what it's like to be disabled and be a mom. And this is one of the things that I have to do. In her car seat, and then put it down like this, and then you can't really see, but there's 3 steps that I have to get down. This is how I do it. Yeah. So we take her like this, and I go down first, and we just take it 1 step at a time, like that, and then like that, and then the bottom one. Okay guys, so I got Janie out here. I do have to take several trips. I take the diaper bag out and get it out here first. And then I get Janie and bring her out. So, right here, you probably can't see her, but she's in the car seat, and I have to figure out a way to lift it up. So, sometimes it takes me more than 1 try, and that's okay. She just sits there and waits for Mama, huh? So once I get it up this way, then I kind of jiggle it until and then, yep, we're just hanging out. And then I get her like this, and I wiggle and jiggle till I get her the right angle, and then we lock it, and she's safe and sound, huh? Yeah, you're a happy girl. Yeah. Say we did it. All right, and some of you may be wondering if I'm able to drive and how I'm able to do that. And yes, I am. I'll probably do another video about my experience getting my driver's license because it's pretty epic. So I will share that with you in another vlog. But yes, I am able to drive. So, all right, now I'm gonna show you how I get her out of the car. Getting her out of the car is a lot easier than getting her in the car, huh? So, you take this and you unlatch the car seat from the carrier, and then I just turn her around like this, and I just this, and then just. And now I'm showing you how I get her from the car back into the house. And then 1 step at a time, I lift her up like this, and then lift her up like this, and then I use the steps to help, and then I open the door and push, and then I push her out like that. So like I said in the car, it was a very interesting experience. So my first time in a car was when I was 16 while doing driver's ed, just like everybody else. So I passed the written test and all that stuff, and me and my parents and the driving coach decided that we should try doing the hand controls. And the hand controls are something that are attached to the steering wheel, and then there's like a metal pole that comes out of it that goes to the brake and the gas. And so we tried that for a while, and it was pretty successful. Driving with hand controls is easier for anybody. The problem with driving with hand controls that I was thinking about was if I ever, for an emergency, have to drive somebody else's car to get somewhere, I would not be able to do that with the hand controls because they just go with the car. And so, excuse me, that was something that I was thinking about. And then I just didn't feel quite ready to drive at 16. So I kind of put it on the back burner and just thought, maybe later. I wasn't sure if driving was going to be a thing for me. So when I went to college, my parents thought it would be a good idea to get a golf cart to help me practice going back and forth from the gas to the brake with my feet, and to drive like a normal person. So they thought it would be good practice. So I used the golf cart for about a year, and I felt like I was ready to do practice driving in a real car. The issue with that was that I needed an actual car to practice driving in. So believe it or not, I actually bought my first car before I even had my driver's license because I wanted to practice. And so that was a risk that I took, buying a car hoping that I would get my license, but I didn't. And I started practice driving when I was in my off semester of college. So I was home for a few months. And I started like everybody else, where I had my parents come with me in the car and practice. But I noticed that when I had my parents in the car, I would get more tense and more scared, and my parents would be very, they would feel tense as well with me in the car. And I know that's normal with any kid of your kids driving, but I feel like with me driving, it was more than normal. So, I practiced driving, and I took the written test again, and I passed. And then I took the driving test, and I was doing well, and I thought that I had passed. And I got back to the DMV, and I hadn't passed. I had barely not passed. I think you could only miss 10 points, and I missed 11 or something like that. And I was really frustrated. And I almost wanted to give up on myself because I was telling myself, you're not going to be able to drive. Nobody's going to pass you anyway because you're disabled. You shouldn't be driving. So I was having a lot of negative self-talk. And my parents didn't like that because they wanted me to be independent, and they said, you know what, Cassie? A lot of people fail the driving test the first time. Let's just continue practicing and see what happens. Well, my parents didn't have a lot of time to practice with me, and again, we would get frustrated with each other. So I have two older brothers, and my second oldest brother volunteered to practice with me. And we practice, and I don't know why he chose to do that, but every single night, he would come with me and we'd practice. One night we just did roundabouts. One night we just did lane changes. One night we just parked, we practiced. And so then After about a month of that, I took the test again and I failed again. So we practiced some more for another month. I took the test again, I failed again. And the reason I was failing was not for, big things, but things for like, I didn't look over my shoulder when I was changing lanes or things like that. And those are definitely important things, but I feel like people were extra cautious with me because of my disability, which I can understand that. Well, to make a long story shorter, I ended up taking, on the 5th time I took the driver's test, I failed again. And I remember calling my brother and saying, I'm just gonna give up. It's not gonna happen. I'm just not meant to drive. And he just wouldn't take no for an answer. And so he said, okay, let's practice for 1 more month and let's do a pretend driving test. We can look it up online and see what you have to do, and we'll just do it. And we practiced for another month. And the morning of my driving test, I remember I was so nervous. I was so sick of taking the test. I knew I was a good driver because I drove all the time with my brother or my parents or whatever. But on the day of the test, I was so nervous. I was shaking. I was having bad negative self-talk, and it didn't seem like a good day. But I just remember all the people cheering on for me and wanting me to pass, especially my brother and all the hard work that he had put into it. And I just wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. And you may fail time and time and time again, but eventually you will succeed. And so I remember taking the test and I just went really slow, and I think I was extra, like I overcompensated for some stuff just because I wanted to make sure that I was doing it right. And so I took the test and I felt pretty good about it, but I didn't really have any expectations just because of what had happened before. And I went in and the driver had gone over the test with me and I passed. Guys, I passed my driving test. It took me 6 times. And some of you might watch this vlog and say, well, it's because of your cerebral palsy, or you shouldn't be driving, or they made the right decision. But I'll tell you what, I passed my 6th time, and it had nothing to do with my cerebral palsy. It was me just not paying attention or making dumb decisions. And believe me, I am extra careful. I still don't really like to drive. I almost got the driver's license just so that I could prove to myself that I could do it. And I knew eventually if I were to get married or have kids, I would need to be able to run errands and drive. If I can help it, I don't drive. But at least I got my license. Just in case. And sometimes I still have the negative self-talk, but you know what? I took the same test as everybody else and I passed. So I guess the point of this is that try again is really a thing. And every time you quote unquote fail, it's actually not a failure. Failure would be just giving up and not continuing and just saying whatever. But every time I took that test, I learned something new that I needed to apply while driving. So at the time, it did feel like a failure. But all 5 of those times led up to the 6th time of being successful. And now I'm 33 and I have my license and I've been driving for a long time and it's all good. And so don't give up on yourself. Try again. You may have to use hand controls. You may have to, again, like I said, adapt to a situation. You may have to do things over and over and over again until you succeed. But every time you have to do it, just try to figure out what you're supposed to learn from that and apply it to the next time. And I'm so grateful that I had that experience. And so yeah, that's my experience with driving. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel and we'll see you guys next time.